subject, helping verb, action verb, and it is the object and any other thing. A group of 3 words put together. Now you should never try to divide this. Hello students and welcome to Prep School English classes. Today's session is about grammar and the topic titled Sentence Reordering. Now, this is a part of your grammar syllabus which will come in your writing skill and it is included in the syllabus for the academic year 2021. Now, when we look at what is sentence reordering, the very word sentence and reordering means we are setting right a sentence in an order to look or to see it meaningful, isn't it? So that means to say words are all jumbled in the sentence and then you need to reorder it to make it a meaningful sentence. So with this being said, sentence reordering is also known as jumbled words. What is it? Jumbled words. So what is that I will be discussing today in the session sentence reordering? I will be discussing these many topics, that is what and why. What is a sentence reordering? Why do you need a sentence reordering? Why do you have to know how to reorder a sentence? And you have to be familiar with few parts of speech that is related to English grammar, and you need to know how to arrange the words. How to arrange the words, what is the rule behind it, and then there is a particular pattern to rearrange the words, and then you will get to see few examples and few exercises. Now if you ask me, ma'am, is there a particular rule? Is it so difficult? I tell you, this is a very simple exercise. It carries 1 marks for you for each question. But if you use your common sense rather than getting to know what is the rule, at this juncture where you are very confident about your language, only using your common sense, you can score well. Alright, so let me tell you all what and why is a sentence reordering important, and then you need to be familiar with few grammar, that is parts of speech of English grammar. What is the pattern followed by examples and exercises. So moving forward, if I tell you what is sentence reordering, have a look at it. Arranging the words in an order to structure a sentence. What did I tell you? You're arranging the words. The words are all jumbled. You're arranging them in an order to give a structure to a sentence. So arranging the words in an order to structure a sentence is called as sentence reordering. So always remember, you will have a bunch of words which is all jumbled. It is not in an order. You need to pick each word without missing anything, and then you need to place it in an order that gives a structure to a sentence. That is called as sentence reordering. Now, any kind of sentence, is it possible? No. The sentence should result after reordering of the words, it should give meaning to the sentence. That is important. So it is also known as the jumbled words. So remember, dear children, that you are arranging a bunch of words which are all jumbled to form a meaningful sentence. That is called as sentence reordering. So moving forward, why do we need to know? Why do we have to understand what is a sentence reordering? That is because it helps us to form meaningful sentence. it helps us to form meaningful sentence. Otherwise, just placing the word haphazardly, it will not help. There will be no meaning to the sentence what you have framed, and your language will not go well that way. So, it helps us to form a meaningful sentence, and then it puts the word in a proper order. So, by knowing how to do the sentence reordering, what will happen? It puts the words in a proper order, and then it strengthens our language. What does it do? It gives a lot of weightage, it gives a lot of strength to our language. So thus, we need to know sentence reordering only because the sentences have to be meaningful, and then it has to give that strength to her language, and then we should be able to put the words in a proper order so that the sentence gives a meaning to the reader or to the listener. So thus, you know what is sentence reordering. Why do you need the sentence reordering? You also need to know this. You need to know this. Where does your sentence reordering, your jumbled words question, come in your question paper? So I told you it is writing skill. It's a part of the grammar which is included in the writing skill, isn't it? So writing skill means it's always in section B. Now, which is the question there? The question over there could be the fourth question. It could be the fourth question. And what is the marks allotted for this question? It is 1 mark per question. So it is 1 mark. If they give you 2 sentences to be reordered, then you will get 2 marks. If it is only 1, then it is 1. So keeping in mind that this 1 mark is very, very important when you aim to score, a high scoring student. If you are, then 1 mark becomes very important. So know this, your sentence reordering or your jumbled words will come in the section B in your question paper. It is your fourth question, and each question will carry 1 mark. So knowing this, you will have to know a little bit of set rules for that, isn't it? If you ask me, there is no written set rule for your sentence reordering. You don't have a rule that it has to be like this or start and nothing like that, okay? What does the rule say? It should be a meaningful sentence. When you're doing a sentence, let it get us the meaning to the reader. That's very important, okay? So use your common sense. Be smart enough to read the given words many times, and then you can, arrange them to give a meaningful sentence. And then the structure of the sentence also should be proper. When I say structure, starting to end, it could be even starting with a capital and then, ending with a full stop. And if anywhere there is comma, you need to give that comma also. So remember 2 things when you are thinking about the rules set for sentence reordering. First one is the sentence should be meaningful. The sentence should be in proper structure. So now that you know the set rules and you know what is sentence reordering, why do you need to know sentence reordering, and then where does it appear in your question paper, let me take you forward. What is that you need to know? What is that you need to know whenever you are studying anything as a part of English? What is that you need to know? You need to know your grammar concepts. You need to know few bit of grammar. So here it's important for you to know that. It's important for you to know the parts of speech so that you can take up few tasks while you reorder the jumbled words. So what is that you need to know? You need to know the grammar rules of what's a subject and a predicate. So if you do not know what is a subject and a predicate, please go back look for yourself, understand these are all the subjects which has been taught to you right from your smaller classes. What is a subject and what is a predicate? The teacher is teaching the English lesson. English lesson becomes the predicate and the subject becomes the teacher. What did I tell you? The teacher is teaching the English lesson. So the teacher is a subject and the English lesson is the predicate. Next, you know singular and plural. So since it is a teacher, you'll say the teacher because you have already spoken about the teacher. Otherwise, how do you use the article the, an and a in front of a noun? So singular and plural also is important to know while you're doing the sentence reordering. And then, of course, you know the articles, isn't it? Articles are what? A and the. So these article determiners, this you need to know. And then when it comes to verb, what is a verb? It is an action word. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. Teaching becomes the verb. What did I tell you? Teaching is a action verb. So when you look at the verb, it is into action verb and it is into a helping verb. So what is the helping verb? The teacher is teaching. Teaching is the verb, that is the action verb, but is a helper verb. What is is? It is a helper verb. So you need to understand in a sentence, the teacher is teaching the English lesson. How did I place it in giving a proper structure? I started with a subject. I put the verb, action verb of teaching with the help of the helping verb, that is. And then I ended it with a predicate, the object, that is English lesson. So this way you need to know what is a subject and the predicate, what is single noun and what is a plural noun, what are articles and what are the verbs. So with this, let me take you forward to see the steps. You have few steps to make or to form the sentence into a meaningful sentence. So you have few steps to arrange the jumbled words into a meaningful sentence. So let's see what are the steps. So your task one is going to be find out the subject. Find out the subject. What is your task one? It is going to be find out the subject. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. The teacher is the subject. So remember, your sentence always starts with a subject. Alright? So then, task 2. What is the task 2? Identify the verb. Identify the verb. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. So verb is an action word, isn't it? So here teaching is the verb. So your task 2 is identify the verb. So now that you have identified the subject and the verb, 2 parts of the sentence is done. Now going forward, you need to see the predicate. What is the object? Okay. So the third task will be find the object. So what is the object here? The teacher is teaching the English lesson. So English lesson is your predicate. English lesson is the object. So now the sentence is into 3 parts. Subject, verb and then object. So done. You have arranged the sentence in a structure, isn't it? Now there will be filler words inside, joining with conjunctions or putting a helping verb in front of a verb. That's very important. So the first 3 steps that you need to keep it in your mind is your task 1, you find the subject. The task 2, you find what is the verb, and the task 3, you find which is the object. Am I being clear to you? So always remember this example. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. So moving forward, you see, when you look at a verb, it is of two kinds in a sentence. I told you. One is a action verb. Speaking, singing, running, eating. You're doing some action, isn't it? So that is called a action verb. What is that? That is called a action verb. So you have to identify the verb and then you see which is the action verb. So this is the first thing when it comes to the verb. When it comes to your task 2, finding out the action verb is once again your duty. Next, when you go, you see helping verb. Teaching is a verb. I need a helper verb for that. So is teaching. Is the helper verb. So we call it helper verb. We call it action verb. So when you see this, am, is, are, the children are running. I am eating. So this book is being hers. So all these are the helping verbs. So once you have identified the verb, in your task 2, you need to understand that. You need to see what is your action verb and where is your helping verb. So what are you going to do? You're going to put the subject, the teacher, and then the verb, teaching, and in between, who is the helping one to connect it? That is the helping verb. That is, the teacher is teaching. The teacher was teaching. The teacher had taught. The teacher has taught. Whatever it is. Okay? So that is action verb. So moving forward to the next one, that is, start with a capital and end with a full stop. Always. Please remember, very, very important, in this reordering of the sentence or the jumbled words, what is that you need to know? Always start your sentence with a capital letter and then end it with a full stop. So with this, I have to redo this for you all. Understand the steps. Step 1, you identify the subject. Steps 2, you look at the verb. Step 3, you look at the object. And then you go back to the verb and you find out which is the action verb and how does the verb will get a helping verb. You have to find out what? The action verb and then the helper verb. And also recheck if you have started the sentence with a capital and then ended it with a full stop. So this is the steps that you need to know. Please have a look at it quickly. So now that you know what is the task that you need to take up in order to arrange the jumbled words to a meaningful sentence, let me take you further. What is the pattern of the sentence? So what is the pattern of the sentence? Please remember this example always. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. Alright? The order will always be like this. The teacher subject, teaching verb, and then it is a predicate. So what is the pattern? If you have a look at this, what did I tell you? It will have the subject first, and then it will have the helping verb, and then it will have the action verb, and then it will have object, and if there is any other thing which is left in the sentence, you can add it here. Okay, I repeat. See, the teacher is teaching. The teacher is teaching the English lesson. So remember this pattern always. Subject, helping verb, action verb, and it is the object and any other thing. So let me give you a different example. If you look at the example here, the driver is driving the bus very fast. So the driver will be the subject, isn't it? Driving will be the action verb. And which is the helper here? Helper will be is. So the driver is driving. So what is he driving? What is the object? What is the object here? The bus. The bus is the object. So the bus will become the fourth part. And then I told you other words. Very fast. So you can add this here. So this way, with my standard example, the teacher is teaching the English lesson. Keep that in mind and always use this sentence pattern. Please have a quick look at it. So to repeat, when you have to reorder the jumbled words to form a meaningful sentence, always start with the first one subject, second one will be the helping verb, third will be the action verb, fourth will be the object, and whatever is left out, the other words, you add on. So in this example, the driver is a subject, driving is the action word which takes the help of a helping verb, that is, and then the object is the bus, and whatever is left out, the other word, very fast. Okay, you are ending it. So I hope you understood. Lastly, you need to know that always start with a capital. Always start with a capital and end with a full stop. Never forget to start with a capital and end with a full stop. Now that you understood what is a sentence pattern, what is that next? I want to just give you a little bit of touch to the grammar, that is the parts of the speech what is related when you have to reorder a sentence. So let us look at the first one. The first one I want to touch upon is the subject, that is the teacher. The teacher was a subject in my sentence, isn't it? Now the teacher becomes a noun. The teacher becomes a noun, isn't it? Now you know what is a noun, isn't it? Name of an animal, name of a place, name of a thing, name of a person, isn't it? Now here, what is the noun? Teacher. The teacher is a noun. That is a subject. Now, your sentence can start with a noun or it can also start with a pronoun. Now, if I say, the teacher is teaching the English lesson, she is dictating the notes. So, in the second sentence, we will never write once again, the teacher is teaching the English lesson, the teacher is dictating the notes, the teacher is explaining the paragraph, the teacher is standing in front of the board. Do we say like that? No. So the teacher gets replaced, the noun gets replaced by a replacing word, that is the pronoun. So now when it comes to the pronoun, you say she, he, my, etc. So the teacher is teaching the English lesson. She is near the board dictating few words. She. Okay, so that she becomes the pronoun. So what happens when you look at an example here? Rita is a tall girl. Rita is a tall girl. Now this is the subject of the sentence, isn't it? So Rita is a small girl. I put a full stop there. Now, how are you going to change this noun into a pronoun? So you can also say she. She is a tall girl. Put a full stop. So this is what you need to know about the subject that it can be a noun and it can be a pronoun also. So moving to the next one, the second one will be, let me talk about the verb. This plays a very important role in your sentence reordering. This plays a very important role because it stands in the center and it connects the subject and it connects the predicate. The subject and the predicate is connected with a verb. But does it do the work alone? No. What does it do? It takes the help of a helping verb. So understand that when I say a verb, it is a action word. Okay, I am singing, I am dancing, I am teaching, I am running, I am eating. Whatever action I am doing, that is called the verb. Verb, action, verb. Now, helping verb. By now, I have repeated it so many times, you know about it. If I say, I am speaking now, am becomes a helping verb, isn't it? The teacher is teaching the English lesson. Is becomes a helping verb. So in that way, all these become more are there as a helping verb. You know about all this, isn't it? And then the action word, I told you, running, speaking, teaching, eating, whatever could be. So let me show you with an example. Rita is growing tall. When I say Rita is growing tall, here is. What does this is? Is the helping verb. And then growing. Growing is what? Growing is the action verb. And then Rita is what? It is a subject. It is a noun here. And then these are the extra words. If I take you to a similar example, once again you'll understand. Rita, subject, was, helping verb, walking will be your action verb. I hope you have understood what is a helping and what is a action verb. So moving forward, let me take you to few exercises. Now dear children, when it is pertaining to your examination, you will get only one kind of exercise. That is, rearrange the jumbled words into a meaningful sentence. So this is the only one kind of exercise you're going to get pertaining to this part of your grammar. What did I tell you? Rearrange the jumbled words into a meaningful sentence. It looks simple, it carries 1 mark, but you have to be cautious here. Even if you miss one little word, if you replace it there and here, the whole sentence is wrong. And then you will miserably lose that 1 complete marks. What did I tell you all? I told you all, in case if you by mistake miss the word in placing it not properly, then the whole sentence is wrong. So that is why you need to use your common sense. There is nothing that I can help you out. There is nothing that are set rules which says, no, you put that here, put that here. No. You have to read, and then only you have to use your common sense and then write the answer. Now, my request to you is, while you are doing this part, first use a pencil, then try out the option lightly in your answer booklet. And then when you feel you have got all the words, you erase it and then use a pen to write. With this, let me take you to just few examples, not many, only 5 examples I have. So how will your question look in the question paper? Have a look at this. Rearrange the following words or phrases to make a meaningful sentence. It could be phrases also. Phrases, a combination of 2 or more words together kept. Okay. So, the words or the phrases are all mixed up, are all jumbled, and then they give it that you need to pick up and you have to arrange. So, the first one, so when you look at a question like this, what is that you're going to do first? You will start reading the words. A lover is animal, passionate, he. isn't it? So when you read, there is something which will come into your senses. Am I right? So what do? You read it again. A lover is animal, passionate, he. So once again something will come. Will you stop it there? No. You will start lover, animal, passionate. No. What is it like? He is a lover animal. No. Then you will say, okay, he is a passionate animal lover. See, you can connect it like that. So once you connect it, then you have to recheck. Okay, so what is a sentence pattern? The sentence pattern will say first is a subject. So you have got the subject, first one. Second one is you have got the verb. So this is the verb. The verb has to come in the center. You have the subject, you have the verb. So what is the helping verb is what you have to see. So he is passionate, lover, animal. Where will that go? Isn't it? Then you will try he is a. He is a. You will do. So you will take it as a helping verb. So he is a passionate and then lover animal. Will it be a lover animal? No. So animal is your object here. So that is going to take the fifth place. And then what is the rest? What is the left out word? That will be lover. So then it will come at the last. Now when you read, he is a passionate animal lover. Then you put a full stop. So see here, he is a passionate animal lover. Was it a big thing? No. You read it once, twice, thrice, you will get it. After you write, you have to just check. Yes, my subject is here, my verb is here, helpers are here, and then my object is here, and then the left out word is here. Plus, I need to put a full stop. So this way, you are going to work out your rearranging of the jumbled words. Let's look at the next example. So when you go to the next example, to her, first Sudha, stand hard, class is studying in. Something is coming into your mind. To her, first Sudha, stand hard, class is studying in. Something again is coming into your mind. Now you got it. The subject you are talking about is Sudha. So you'll start with Sudha, isn't it? And then what is the verb? What is Sudha actually doing? She is studying hard, isn't it? She is studying hard. So that could be the verb for you. So the verb has already come in the center. Sudha has already come in the starting. So your sentence is going to be very, very easy. So you see, Sudha is studying hard to stand first in her class. To stand first in her class. So, with a helping word, this is how you are going to frame, or this is how you are going to pull out the meaningful sentence. Never forget to put a full stop. I've been repeatedly telling it in all the slides so that it will get into your mind. That's the reason I have missed out on putting the full stop. Let's see the third example. Now, he, my letter received must have by now. When you read out, doesn't it come to your mind? He, my letter received much have by now. He, my letter received much have by now. He must have received my letter by now. So he, it is a subject. Okay, received, it's a verb. Oh yeah, it is something correct. So that's how you will write it. So he must have received. Must have is the helping verb. Received becomes the verb. Okay, action verb, helping verb, subject, and letter, my letter, that is the object. The left out is the verb. Is there any difficulty that you see? No, isn't it? Now going to the next one. Here, on my bicycle to go, I used to my school. On my bicycle, I go, I used to school. You will start thinking, I go to school on my bicycle, could be. Whether all the words are there, let's see. Now, what I want to tell you all here is this is called as a phrase. Now, they have given you a phrase that is a group of three words put together. Now, you should never try to divide this. They cannot be split. Please pay your attention. Such phrases cannot be split. It has to be placed however it is placed here. Am I being clear? It can be placed anywhere in the sentence, but please place them together. See here, used to. So you can't say used somewhere and to somewhere. No, it has to be placed together. So here, what does it say? What is the subject? It's very easy to understand the subject, that is I. So start with I. I used to go to my school. What is the action word here? It is go. Action verb is go. So I used to go to my school on my bicycle. So your object is school. You used to go to the school on my bicycle. So this is how you are going to place the phrases. On my bicycle. See here. On my bicycle. Together it is. Used to, it is used to together. So remember this also. So let's move to the last example for this session. Have a look at it. Nothing is open, so it's a public holiday. Nothing is open, so it's a public holiday. So when you look at it, when you read it once or twice, you can figure out how are you going to place the words in an order, how are you going to structure the sentence into a meaningful sentence. So it's a public holiday, so nothing is open. It's a public holiday, nothing is open, so you put the full stop. So dear children, since this year you have a reduced syllabus, let's see what is the kind of question that the CBSE board will give out on a sample question paper. Accordingly, we shall work out many more examples and try to be perfect to get those 1 mark for each question. So moving to the next, it is practice questions. I won't be giving you any homework right now. Please understand that working out the assignments which I will be sending it to you, that's very important. So your homework always has practice exercises, the assignments which I will be sending you. So practice, in that way you can become perfect when it comes to this part of the exercise. So the next question will be, ma'am, can we get that full marks in case we do something wrong in between? No. Your marks will be completely gone if you ever, by mistake, place the word in an incorrect placement. What did I tell you all? By placing the word not properly, the sentence might look a little meaningful, but it might not be perfect. Then your whole 1 mark is gone. So that is why I tell you all, be very, very cautious when you are placing the word, when you are structuring the sentence, when you are giving some meaning to the jumbled words and making it into a perfect sentence. Am I being clear with that? So remember that you will get the full mark, yes, provided you have to be very careful in answering. Never take a pen and do the direct answering. You will go wrong. Okay. So always take a pencil and do a rough work, and then you can erase it and put your final answer. Am I being clear? So that is with your scoring of the marks. I hope you have understood what is sentence reordering. It's not very difficult, isn't it? All that you know is how to use your common sense, and then with a little bit of practice, with a little bit of reading, you can do well pertaining to this exercise. So dear children, remember, language has its own style. Any language, not only English, it carries its own style. So it is for us to adapt, to live in that style. So, for example, if you like English, that means you need to get adapted to the style of the English and then you need to live in that style. For that, the fundamentals of the language component and the grammar has to be understood. So remember, once again, language has got its own style. It is for us to learn and adapt it. All right? See you in my next session. I will be doing the lesson birth. Until then, all smiles to you. Bye-bye.